Going into my senior year without a conference championship, I have to make a change. So I have transferred to Alabama. And over the summer, Coach Saban has been hitting me up and saying, you will be a top prospect going into that NFL draft if you come here. So I said 2 words, I'm coming, and I'm the 2nd string cornerback on that depth chart. Coming into my first practice with Alabama, there's so many 5-star recruits here, and I gotta prove myself. So I start off with an interception. Because when I signed those papers with Coach Saban, I told him I would not let him down. But going into this next play, I tried to shorten this running back's neck. But again, later in practice, I tried to come down and lay that boom on the running back, but he absolutely ran me over. But after having an intense practice, Coach said keep working and you will soon be able to challenge for that #1 cornerback spot. But going into my first game against Virginia Tech in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, early on we had a cover 3 zone, but I came down and boomed that running back, and I made sure that he felt me early on this game. And I was fired up. But going into the next play on 3rd and 10, I nearly had an interception, but I tackled this wide receiver for a gain of 0. And fool me once, you can't fool me again. They run the same play, and I intercept that ball, and Earl Baduki will go. He breaks 1 tackle, he jukes back inside, and he gets tackled at the 1-yard line. And early on, we were turning up. We was up 16-0 early on. We're going into the next play on 1st and 10. I don't even know why this quarterback even bothered. On cover 3 zone, I had another interception, but I dropped the ball. But on 1st and 10, as you can see, they have a read option, but I come all the way across that field and lay a big hit on this running back, and he felt me. But going into the next play on 2nd and 4, as you can see, they throw the ball to the tight end and score a touchdown on us. But on 2nd and 1, as you can see, I was in great coverage, and they throw that ball up, and I thought I had an interception, but I get ducked on, and he turns around and go all the way to that end zone for 6. And that cannot happen again. But on 3rd and 17, I really baited this wide receiver up and almost had an interception, but I dropped the ball. How many more drops am I going to have? But going into the next play on 2nd and 18 to close this game out, as you can see, I had a cover 3 zone. I was in the right place at the right time. I catch another interception, and this time I'm trying to take him for 6. And as you can see, I hit that right sideline, and I break 1 tackle, juke back inside, and almost find my way to that end zone, but I get tackled. And this year is Earl Baduki year. He is not here to play. But going into my first game wasn't the greatest game, but I had 3 total tackles and 2 interceptions. Coaches gave me another chance to move out that depth chart and be cornerback #1, and I started off with a big hit. Trying to come down on this next play and shorten this running back's neck, he absolutely ran through me. And this is the 2nd time that this has happened. This Alabama offense is nothing to play with, but I set this wide receiver down as soon as he caught that ball. And as you can see, I have won a position battle, but after having a great practice, I told coach, and he said, you are now the #1 cornerback to start in Saturday's game. Going into our next game against 2-0 Texas A&M, as you can see, we started off intense. I almost had an interception, but the ball got thrown to the other receiver. Going into the next play on 3rd and 10, I broke on this ball amazing. I thought I had an interception, but somehow he caught that ball. But as you can see on 2nd and 7, they run that ball outside. I dip and rip and wrap and roll. Them Gator rolls are paying off. But on 2nd and 18, as you can see, he completes the ball to the tight end. I lay a crucial hit on him. Going into the next play on 3rd and 9, they throw that ball my way, and I almost intercept that ball, but I drop it. And as you can see, they march down that field, and on 2nd and goal, they throw that ball for a touchdown. But going into this next play on 2nd and 10, I stayed patient in my zone, and I finally broke on that ball, and look at the deflection that Earl Baduki did. That is NFZ, no fly zone. We're going into the next play on 3rd and 6. As you can see, the quarterback dumps the ball off to his tight end. I laid it boom on him. Going into the next play on 3rd and 9, I stayed patient all game, and I finally got a 1-hand interception. Oh my God, that was amazing. I stayed relentless that whole game, and we going to win the game. I had a pretty decent game. I ended the game off with 3 total tackles and 1 interception. Going into our next game against 0-2 Colorado State, I started off intense. As you can see, we were man-to-man, and I intercept that ball early on and took it all the way for 6, and I was fired up early on. And I told the wide receiver, give me that. We're going into the next play on 3rd and 7. As you see, I had a cover 3 zone. Thought I had another interception, but I just undercut it too much. And I'll get him back next time. But going into the next play on 1st and 15, I run all the way across the field to the quarterback, and I just laid on him. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, I was backing up in my zone, and I came up and laid the boom on this quarterback. We're just making big time plays. We are getting off of that field. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, that wide receiver thought he was open, and I almost intercept the ball, but my teammate intercepts it, and I was very disappointed in myself, but I was happy my teammate got it. But we're going to win the game, and I end the game off with 3 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Going into our next game against 2-1 Ole Miss, it started off intense. I came down and laid the boom on the quarterback, and oh my God, he felt me. I told my teammates, let's get this game started. But going into the next play on 2nd and 3, I thought I had an interception, but he caught the ball and stiff-armed me and made me miss the tackle. But on 3rd and 1, I came down with bad intentions and laid the boom on the running back to knock him back. 2nd and 10, I shot in like a rocket and made that quarterback fumble that ball, and I created a turnover, and big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments for my team. And I was fired up. But going into the next play on 2nd and 10, the quarterback just keeps throwing that ball my way, and I dropped the interception. And I will always bounce back. Going into the next play on 3rd 3rd and 3. As you can see, I read this play so beautifully. I caught another interception, and I will go. I hit that left sideline, and I will put my team in position to score. And I was fired up with my teammates. Couldn't be a better team to do it with. But as you can see, I ended the game off with 5 total tackles, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Going into the next game against 2-2 Georgia State, I came out intense. I shed the block and came down and laid a big hit on the running back. I'm not gonna lie, this wide receiver has some speed to him. So on 2nd and 15, he got me beat and caught the ball, but I wrapped and rolled him. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, I stayed patient in my zone, but then I came down and tried to take out ACL, MCL on the quarterback. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, I'm back in my zone, and I come back down and lay a big hit on the quarterback, and he fumbles that ball, and we get another turnover, and I'm creating turnovers every week. I'm gonna make sure that my team is in great position to score that football. Going into this next play on 1st and 10, I wasn't patient enough, but I still came down, almost had an interception, but I made a tackle as soon as he caught the ball. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, this running back ran outside. He thought he was escaping me, but he wasn't going anywhere. Going into the next play on 2nd and 10, as you can see, I was staying patient on this route and almost had another interception, but I hit him and make the ball come out. But on 3rd down, my time finally has come, and I dropped the interception. But I had a pretty big ball out game. I had 8 total tackles and 1 sack and 1 forced fumble. Going into our next game against 2-3 Kentucky, I absolutely put my body on the line for this tackle and made the tackle on the running back. Going into the next play on 3rd and 5, as you can see, this wide receiver had me beat, and I turned the exact wrong way, and I tried to chase him down, dive at him, but I couldn't catch him. He went all the way for 6. But I was very disappointed in myself. But going into the next play on 1st and goal, as you can see, I came and completely flat ironed this quarterback. And they're not getting into this end zone. And on 4th and goal, as you can see, they try to run that ball my way, and I wasn't going for it. And as you can see, we're going to win the game. And I didn't have a so well game. I ended the game off for 3 total tackles. Going into our next game against 6-1 Arkansas, I started off terrible. I was getting drove out. And this running back ran all the way up the field for a pretty big game. But as you can see, Arkansas wasn't here to play. They drove all the way down the field and scored on us early. And I really wasn't having the best game that I've played. On 2nd and 2, the wide receiver was wide open for a back corner end zone touchdown. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, this quarterback tried to run up the middle, but I set him down quick. On 3rd and 8, I put my foot down and said I had enough. The quarterback threw that ball my way, and I deflected that ball. You see, I'm going back to my old ways. On 1st and 10, I totally misangled this tackle, and he go up the field for some yards. But as you can see, on 2nd and 10, they were going to throw a Hail Mary to try to get anything, but they still wasn't going to win the game. So we're going to win the game, and I end the game off with 3 total tackles. I didn't have a so well game. Going into our next game against 7-0 Tennessee, I have to come out different. I've been in a slump for the past 3 games. I try to take out ACL, MCL out on this quarterback early. But I don't know what it is. I'm just strapping him up because Earl Baduki hasn't had any balls thrown his way. But as you can see, the other DB catches an interception, and my teammate will go all the way for 6, and I was fired up for him. Tennessee did not give up. On 2nd and 11, I ran all the way across the field, and that quarterback was getting in that end zone for a touchdown. I had a horrible game again with 1 total tackle. Going into our next game against 6-3 LSU, I started off intense early on. We were in man-to-man, but I came down and manhandled this quarterback and threw him to that ground. This was a physical night for Earl Baduki as he laid that boom on him. He sure knocked his buckles loose, but on 1st and 10, as you can see, Earl Baduki has a chance for an interception. He drops the ball. On 2nd and 7, coming downhill, I laid that boom on that running back. As you can see, going to the next play on 3rd and 14, I almost have an interception, but I just undercut this route. I have to do better. But going to the next play on 2nd and 14 on the screenplay, I boom that running back. And as you can see, we're going to win the game, but I end the game off with 6 total tackles. Going into our next game against 4-5 Mississippi State, I absolutely came down on his inside zone and laid the boom on his running back. I sure didn't get no breaks. On 2nd and 10, I came down and laid the boom and made him do a backflip. But on 3rd and goal, as you can see, I absolutely misangled this play, and the quarterback goes in for 6. But going into the next play on 4th and 6, as you can see, my teammate intercept that ball, and he will go all the way. And you see who's beside him, Earl Baduki, because that's my brother's keeper, and I'm going to make sure that he gets to that end zone safely. But I told my teammate, you're not the only one. Going into the next play and cover 2 man, as you can see, that quarterback threw that ball my way, and I intercept that ball. And as you can see, Earl Baduki was talking trash. He told that quarterback, don't ever target him again. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, look how I break on this ball and wrap and roll this receiver. But as you can see, I stay relentless all night. And on 2nd and 7, as you can see, this quarterback just throws up a prayer, and I almost intercepted again, but I dropped it. But I had a pretty decent game. I ended the game off with 4 total tackles and 1 interception. Going into our next game against some bums, FCS East. As you can see, they tried me early on. They run a deep ball, and the quarterback just throws it up deep, and I almost intercept that ball. But I got to get some sticky glue because I keep dropping interceptions. But going into the next play, I broke on this ball so beautifully in NFZ. No fly zone around here. The running back. I laid it all night. Going into the next play on 2nd and 10. I don't know if this quarterback don't know who I am, but he keeps throwing the ball my way, and I drop another one. But I said, all right, I'll stay patient and try to give me another one. But going into the next play on 4th down, I thought I had an interception, but the running back catches the ball. We're going to win the game, and I end the game off with 2 total tackles. Going into our next game against 5-6 Auburn. As you can see, I was sitting back in my zone. I was being patient on him. Then he ran up and caught the ball. Then I tried to wrap and roll him, but he threw me off of him and went up the field for yards. And I wasn't going like that. I wanted revenge. So I came out and shot like a rocket and laid a big hit on this quarterback, and I got him. But going into the next play on 3rd and 9, I had great coverage, and I thought it was an interception, but the wide receiver caught the ball on me. Going into this next play on 2nd and 10, I stayed very patient on this out route, and I jumped it and got an interception, but I stepped out of bounds, and I was fired up with my teammate. Going into the next play on 1st and 10, I almost had a one-hand interception, but the wide receiver somehow caught this pass. On 2nd and 10, the quarterback was throwing scaries all night. I almost had another interception. On 3rd and 10, I creeped down and laid that boom on that running back. They were holding the beast back from being let out of that cage. But going into the next play, I creeped up on this wide receiver and caught another interception, and I see nothing but that green grass in that end zone, and I will go all the way, and then I flip into the end zone for the touchdown. I was fired up, and we're going to win the game, and I end the game off of 4 total tackles and 2 interceptions. Going into the conference championship game against 10-2 Georgia, as you can see, I started off early. I hit that running back for a 1-yard rush. And going into the next play on 1st and 10, I made sure to flip this running back and make him fall on his head. And I told my teammate, I got him right there. Going into the next play on 3rd and 10, I was not in my zone, and I caught that wide receiver as soon as he got the ball and tackled. Going into the next play, me being Earl Baduki, I'm not letting up any pass on me, so I deflect the ball. But as you can see, it's 7-3 with 38 seconds to go on 4th down, and they convert for a touchdown and win the ball game. We take a tough loss. That was our first loss of the season, and I end the game off of 4 total tackles. As you can see, I win the Chuck Bednarik Award, and I also win the Bronco Award. Also picking up the Jim Thorpe Award. Going into our ball game against 10-2 Utah, I mean, I started off intense. I almost had a pick 6 early on, but I dropped the ball, and I was frustrated with myself. But going into the next play on 2nd and 9, I came over and laid that boom and made him fumble that ball and got a turnover for my team, and I was turned up early on. I told them they better not run that ball Earl Baduki way anymore. But as you can see, going into the next play, I rallied that ball with my teammates to get a gang tackle. And with that being said, we go on and win the Orange Bowl, and we are champions. Out of all Earl Baduki years, he has still failed to get a conference championship. And as you can see, I end the game off for 3 total tackles and 1 forced fumble. And as you can see, this is Earl Baduki last game of his senior year. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Earl Baduki. Is he going to declare for the NFL draft, or is this it? Drop a comment down below. What do you think is going to happen with Earl Baduki, or what do you think should happen with Earl Baduki? Also, drop comments down below. What road to glory do you want to see next?